All right, what is going on, everyone? Happy Monday. I hope everyone had an amazing Thanksgiving. Excited for today's conversation. I've got some videos from last year. I was hoping we can pull. I've got some 2018 stuff coming out too. I think it'll be fun to go back and look at how wrong I was about certain things and how right I was from time to time. But so definitely looking forward to the conversation today. So as more and more of you start to drop in, for me, I think the big thing that I want to talk about now are the big trends that I'm seeing for 2021. That because we spend time talking to so many CEOs and so many, VPs of sales, we get a glance at what are people are doing that's cool, new, interesting, different. What's staying the same? What are people scared of, etc. What's up, Craig? Hope you're doing amazing. Craig, I appreciate you, man. Craig tunes in every Monday like clockwork. I appreciate you. And so in the comments today, drop your questions. I love doing these, sometimes without a guest, because then it could truly be an Ask Jake Anything where you can, hey, Jake, like I'm going through this, or hey, I've noticed this trend. But I'm going to talk about everything from Zoom fatigue or Teams fatigue, budgets getting tightened, sales environment, Gartner State of the Sales Report, which I think has shook a lot of people up. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well too. What's up, Ryan Scalera? This dude, if you guys aren't following Ryan, go check out Ryan. This guy, man, I should have hired this guy. I had a chance to maybe hire Ryan. Ryan, I should have hired you, man. Maybe I still will. Who knows? Just don't tell Keenan. All right. Craig Hatter, what's going on, man? Craig's also a veteran. We appreciate you, man, and every work and all the work that you have done for us. And so today, again, I'm going to get into 2021 predictions. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're seeing, what we did before. But first, I'm going to play a little bit of 2020. So Shelby, I think you got this teed up. So we're going to play a little 2020 so you can see what I predicted to go live then.
So everyone, my 2020 vision for sales, right? Last year, I talked a lot about LinkedIn. I talked about some other trends. This year, my big trend is this is the year of the buyer. And if your buyers are on LinkedIn, that means you and your organization need to be more engaged on LinkedIn. You don't have to necessarily be the creator of content. You need to start to make your brand, your B2B brand, a hub for people to interact with. The companies that are going to win in 2020, 2021 are companies that are focused on the buyer experience first. And that means how you interact with them as a brand digitally, and your digital presence is going to be just as important as all the paid media that you're running, all the lead capture that you're running. There's this whole new treasure trove that's opened up around organic that we didn't have access to before. There never was a B2B organic place for you to generate interest. There is today, and that site is LinkedIn, right? So my friends out there, my 2020 vision for sales is the companies that are going to win, the organizations that are going to win, are companies that understand you have to realign the sales process to your buyer experience. You have to make sure that you're engineering for your buyers. More and more, your buyers are influencing your sales process, your customers are, than your marketing. And so you have to make sure that you have a process for those individuals, and you have to find a way to engage with those people authentically, digitally. So that is my 2020 vision. There's a lot more. We've got a lot more videos coming around this, but that is a quick sneak peek.
Oh man, how hype was that music? I don't know how we okayed that. Right, in the future, we're going to step it up. So I predicted in 2020 would be the year of the buyer. Right, as let's see, who was it that called that out? It was Alyssa. What's going on? I think it's Alyssa. If it's Alyssa, just let me know and just say, Jake, it's Alyssa, not Alyssa. Alyssa called it out. I did not predict the pandemic, unfortunately. That would have been good to help everyone out there. But, look, I feel good. I feel like, look, it was 2020, the year that the buyer changed the way that they operate. I don't know if I think it's going to play out that the answer is yes, right? Like they got more comfortable with Zoom than ever. They, the state of the sales said more and more of them want access to information digitally. So I'm going to carry that one over a little bit to 2021 that I think in particular It is Lisa. Okay, I was incorrect. I was correct the second time. Brian, what do you think? So I want to hear from you. Give me a thumbs up if you think I hit it, if I nailed it, or a light bulb if you think I need to work on my skills. I think I actually kind of was remotely, I didn't predict the pandemic, but I think that these are still the trends. So I'm going to carry this over for 2021. I really believe that next year, there's going to be some big trends that I want all of you to think about. The first I want to talk about, and this one's going to be up there. If anyone's in sales development or you run sales development teams, Ryan, I know you're out there hustling, making it happen, is I think there's going to be a big change in what a sales development rep does. And sales development reps today make up a big chunk. For those of you who don't know what a sales development rep, okay, good. I got some thumbs up. People think that I did somewhat predict accurately. I feel like I did. I feel like I had it. So sales development reps, those are the people that are out there just setting meetings or maybe qualifying meetings. So here's my prediction around SDRs. Okay, so go ahead. I want you to timestamp this. We are at 7 minutes and 57 seconds. Okay, right now to where I started to talk about this. Okay, so for me, I think one of the biggest trends for sales development, I'm going to give two. One, we need to basically eliminate inbound SDRs. Boom. You heard it here first. If you're an inbound SDR, I want you to listen closely why I said this. If you are somebody who says, Jake, I am interested in learning more, can someone please talk to me? My friends, too many companies are just going to remove that friction point and let people get straight to learn. And McKinsey actually posted about this. This was like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. McKinsey did a study and they said buyers value speed 2 times more than they do price. So if that's the case, and I think that holds true today, I think price is obviously an important one. We need to remove friction for the buyers. I still think you should have those inbound SDRs to kind of qualify some of those people that look, kind of really iffy on paper. But if someone comes in and says, I want information, I'm telling you, I don't know if any of you have talked to inbound SDRs. Inbound SDRs sometimes have a miserable job. These poor people, they get on the phone. They're like, yes, let me ask you some questions and blah, blah, blah. And then the buyer's like, dude, I thought I was getting on a demo. You go talk to any SDR today. And the amount of times they get on a phone call and they go, and the buyer goes, I thought I was getting this. My friends, if that is your sales experience right now, if your sales experience is the buyer's first interaction point is saying, I thought I expected something different, we've got to eliminate it. Done. Okay. So I'd like to see us eliminate 80 to 90% of inbound SDR roles and get those people to sales faster because buyers want access to information faster than they've ever had it before. We want that B2C experience. B2C experience. B2C is click buy, right? It's like Jake after 2 beers on Instagram, right? Click buy, right? All of a sudden 2 new pairs of Nikes show up at the house, right? That is what we want in our new digital world, is we want a similar experience in B2B. And for those of you who didn't see it, this is the stat that really triggered this for me. Gartner did a report. We compete against them from time to time, but I still think they put out good content. Gartner put out a report that said 80% of millennials by 2025 want to have zero salespeople involved. They want frictionless process. So you've got to start tomorrow. You got to start today and tomorrow, 2021. Inbound SDRs, okay? Unless, again, they're qualifying a very specific, maybe it's a big ticket item, et cetera. The second trend for SDRs is if SDRs can't run an actual discovery process and ask real questions and give people some amount of insight into what the product actually does, we got to eliminate those roles too. I am telling you, the future of sales is transparent and it's frictionless. So if your first interaction with a company, SDR sets a meeting, that's fine. But we have got to do a better job of training the people that have that first interaction point on how to get people excited, how to run a proper discovery process, how to at least give a high-level demo or talk to them about what the product does. I am convinced that buyers moving forward, again, now we're at minute 11:21. I want you to tag this minute, that buyers moving forward are going to demand from SDRs, dude, give me some value. I want you to think about the customer experience right now and how absolutely ludicrous it is in B2B. A buyer call, you reach out to a buyer, okay? Cold email, cold call, video, whatever it is. And then on the first call with the buyer, you go, okay, well, let me ask you some questions. And most of those are MEDDIC or BANT. You're using some outdated stuff like command of the message or this other stuff. Again, command of the message to me is like one of the most ridiculous, like MEDDIC. Like MEDDIC adds no value. It's all about qualifying someone. People are not going to put up with it. They're not going to put up with it. Okay. And so I'm telling you, we're already seeing this. Let me tell you the one industry that has blown. There's a lot of industries that have blown up during the pandemic. Let me tell you one, because I get a feel for this stuff. I talk to all these leaders, etc. You want to know the industry that's blowing up right now? Outsourced SDRs. I'm telling you, I have talked to CEOs at probably 10 different firms. None of them can even handle the workload. They're getting so much request. Why? Because the value is diminishing. And when the value just becomes appointment setting, it starts to become a very tactical role. Now, look, there's a lot of thought leaders out there that want to tell you that you can have a career as a sales development rep. You can, only in the upper echelon, enterprise, and you can do it in setting meetings. But unless you gain that other skill, which is how to have a conversation, how to relay value, I don't think the SDR role, again, of course, it's going to be around next year and the year after. But as we move through this decade, right? And a lot of you, no matter what point you're in your career, you need to be preparing for the next steps in your career. So if you're out there drinking this Kool-Aid people are selling, that is telling you, you can have a very long career as a sales development rep. You can, but the amount of people that can do that now is going to shrink dramatically. Why? Because people want less friction in the process. We need more meetings, sure, but we don't want to have to go talk to somebody who's uneducated and doesn't even know what the product does, or my first conversation with them, they add no value and they try to BANT or MEDDIC me to death, okay? So again, that's what I want you to think about. That's my SDR. So all my sales development reps out there, I have so much love for you and respect. I came from a world where I made hundreds and hundreds of cold calls a day. I know what that job is like, but what I'm telling you is this: buyers want reduced friction. So make sure you're up-leveling your skills to where you can have a conversation with them if you want to stay in that role. Glenn Ebersole, what's up, Glenn? Glad you joined. Ryan Scalera, Dooley has done an amazing job in the product-led buyer-focused category. Shout out to Chris and the team at Dooley. I'm a big fan of Dooley. If you don't know what that is, go check it out. So everyone, keep the questions coming as I go through this. So I've got a couple more predictions. So that's the SDR role. Okay, a couple other predictions. Let me just pull up my sheet here. Oh man, I've talked a lot about that one. I'm going to talk a little bit about sales tech, and then I'm going to get to virtual selling. Okay, so for all my sellers, I want you to pay attention to these next two sections. The next one thing I want to talk about is sales technology. Okay, mark your calendars. Jake started, or mark your thing, minute 14 and 46 seconds. Okay, sales technology. Sales tech. Right now, and Eloqua, who's one of the leading marketing automation platforms, I think Pardot put out something similar. Marketing automation tools, right, which are kind of akin to a lot of sales tech. People use about 10 to 15% of their functionality. Right now, my best guesstimate is people are using 25 to 40% of what their sales tech is capable of. Just imagine that. Most companies now I'm seeing are investing hundreds of thousands of dollars. People are spending almost I'm seeing people spend between $500 to $1,000 a month per sales rep on sales tech. And we're literally getting 1/4 to 40% of the entire benefit that we could be. And let me tell you why. What's happening? One, sales up. What do you call it? Sales operations. Sales operations team are overwhelmed and undertrained. Most sales ops teams start off with some junior person. They've never implemented this tech. Maybe they've done it once or twice. That's max. And then they've never integrated this tool and this tool and this tool. What's up, Jen Ferguson? Love you jumping in here. So I want you to think about this. Sales tech to me has a massive opportunity, but it's not going to come from your sales ops teams, right? We're going to talk a lot more about it and to stay in front of the trends. Okay, we're launching this sales operations as a service. Why? We have done hundreds of sales technology implementations. I see the future. The future is going to be teams that can come in, get this stuff working correctly so your team can then run it and take it over. Guess what? Marketing's already doing this. Marketing already has people that are in there optimizing the tech. They're looking at it every single day. Sales teams have to start to run more like a performance organization. You've heard me shout about this 9,000 times, that sales teams optimize so slow. Think about the average sales team. They don't touch their sales process every 1 to 2 years. Even though their team has hundreds or thousands of demos, you know what's happening. Why aren't you fixing it? So to me, sales tech, sales ops, so underrated. I completely agree. The problem is one individual as a sales ops person cannot keep up. There are 1,500 sales technologies. 150. It might even be more now. I don't even know. Okay, right? And so to me, this is it. Again, people don't understand the value. That's exactly it. We look at revenue producing heads and we look at sales ops. I'm going to tell you, we did an interview series where we interviewed sales operations leaders. It was scary. It was scary. I had a marketing, Becca, she was on it. And we were talking about it. And we asked a question, how do you quantify your impact? Like maybe one person or two people had a number. That's the problem. We've got to try to quantify the impact. Sales ops before, sales ops after. Okay. One, almost all of you are understaffing your sales ops department and therefore putting a bunch of burden on your management and your frontline people. So either go hire more full-time people who only understand a few technologies, or go start to run your sales ops team like you do a marketing team, right? I don't care if you hire us. I don't care if you hire Go Nimbly. I don't care who you hire. Okay. But I'm telling you, there are experts out there that have done this hundreds of times that are going to be more qualified to help you fix this sales tech problem, right? Or create more staff for your sales ops people, right? That's what you have to do. We've got to enable salespeople to go out and sell and start to quantify the impact of sales ops so people are more excited, all right? And then again, yeah. And so then let me tell you the most overrated fad. Okay, here you go. Oh shit, here we go. This is going to get more controversial. In this same version, okay? In this same version, Jen Ferguson, this is a great question. I'm going to come back to this because I want to make this point. The most overrated, hyped 2021 word. Are you ready for it? In sales, the most overhyped 2021. The ABM of 2021, RevOps. Revenue operations is the most overhyped role in sales. And I'm going to tell you why, or in this whole org. Two reasons. One, they have no seat at the table. So revenue ops, we've created this group now because we've created so many silos between marketing, sales, customer, sales development. We have all these silos. We now need to create revenue ops to somebody to get their handle on the whole things. But guess what? Those people don't get a seat at the table. And therefore, they're going to go and say, hey, we should tweak this. We should do this. We should do this, blah, blah, blah. And the sales leader is going to be like, yeah, but you don't understand sales. I see the people that we are hiring for these RevOps roles. We are hiring ex-consultants who don't understand sales. We are hiring ex-consultants that don't understand sales. Therefore, it's going to be the same problem. These ex-McKinsey people are going to come in and say, oh, you should do this and this. And then they're going to go, yeah, but that won't work because of this and this. And they're like, oh yeah. RevOps, I'm telling you, overhyped. Elisa knew that I was going to say that, right? But I'm just telling you, all it is it's trying to make up. We're like, well, sales ops isn't getting it done. Marketing ops, customer ops, SDR ops. I know what the solution is. Let's create a new role. And this role will magically solve for this. And then let's fast forward 2 or 3 years and we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty sure I'm right about that one. Okay, going back to Jen's question. Oh, wait, my second thing about why RevOps, it doesn't, well, actually I said it, is they don't know sales. Is most people aren't putting people in RevOps who both have the quant side to look at the data and then the sales side to know how to actually implement change within a sales organization. So not only do they not have a seat at the table, they also don't understand how change management works in a sales organization. So there you go. Levers to pull. So before I move on to my sales and virtual selling trends, how do you know what levers you need to pull without sales ops analysis to improve results? Or maybe that was a comment. I don't know if that was I don't know if that's a comment or a question, but I think there's at least a question I can get in there. I'm going to tell you some of the most important levers in sales ops that you can think about. One, if in your mind you're like, I should be able to automate this thing. You can. There are enough technologies that exist right now that if you're looking to automate something, or if you're like, I think I should be able to automate this, you can, right? So step one is you just think the art of possible. I think a lot of sales leaders, like when you grew up in this type of environment, and sales operations leaders, you grew up like XYZ. Sometimes we limit our own brains. We limit our own capacity to think. And so for me, we've got to believe in the art of possible. Everything is possible now, which is awesome. I love it. Some of the biggest things you can do with your sales tech, I'm just going to try to give you some little tips here, is one, automations in your sales engagement platform. And by the way, this is not automated email sends. It's the opposite. It's automations for when actions happen in a CRM and dispositioning people into the right sequence for them to be actioned on, right? And then kind of the twin to that is nurturing sequences in your sales engagement platform. It used to be that people would run a short-term funnel, a middle-term funnel, and a long-term funnel. Now I feel like we're so focused on short-term. So building out a bunch of different nurture-based sequences in your sales engagement platform. So again, creating automations. People did this, let's put them in this, is one of my absolute favorite ones. Okay, so those are automation rules in your sales engagement platform. I'm telling you, is a massive, massive, massive opportunity. It's probably the biggest one. The second is data and insights, right? So we partner with, shout out to Ben, we'll tag here, Mr. Ben Turner. Let me check. If you guys don't know, shout out to IS2. If you guys don't know Insight Squared, we partner with Insight Squared. Insight Squared gives me access to very, very, very specific data in my sales cycle. So a lot of times I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix it. So this was actually Jen's comment. I think I get her comment now. Is if you use Insight Squared, I can break it down by rep, by manager, by region, by team, and by company, my sales cycle in each stage and my conversion percentage between each stage. I am telling you, what people looking at sales cycle to me is the most worthless metric, because when you drill in 2 or 3 layers, it looks like this all over the place. And then from team to team, it looks like this. So instead, we've got to start to learn to coach, to use sales technology. This is it. This is my point. Minute 23:25. Shelby, mark this down. We got to make a video just on this point I'm getting ready to make. We have to use sales technology to manage to the individual, not to create new metrics to manage everybody to. What sales tech is actually allowing us to do is stop creating middle layers in management to. I can now create for Craig, for Jen, for Elisa, for Glenn. I can actually create your metrics and manage you to your best potential. Isn't that what we should be doing anyway? Right? I'm telling you, I've seen some bonker stuff that my folks over at Outreach are doing, and it perpetuates this even further. You know, is that we're going more and more to give you the data to basically be able to manage individuals versus managing to the middle. That's what sales tech should be enabling us to do. All right. That's what's up with sales tech. All right. Next topic. Well, hold on. Glenn's got one. Do you believe people too often immediately think and say, we got to automate that without thinking it through? It's a mix of both. I think, you know, Glenn, to your point, I think a lot of people don't know what they can automate. Like imagine a world where you send an email to me. I'm reaching out to you. I'm a salesperson. Jake, now's not the right time. I then disposition you to say, timing 3 months. I should create an automation that then puts you in a 3-month out timing sequence. That makes sense, right? So that way Jake doesn't have to remember manually, oh crap, I got to move it, right? So instead, by dispositioning, I can automatically move people. I think where people look to automate sometimes are things that they can't comprehend can be that can be done at scale. I think we have such a obsession at times with removing humans from the loop, as opposed to trying to understand where do humans need to be in the loop. And so, yes, Glenn, I think there's a little bit about what you say, because we try to automate these emails. We don't know where to put the human in the loop. But that's where you've got to think about it. Is like, what can I do to get people to the maximum level of intent with the lowest lift, and then insert a human in the loop? So yeah, at times yes, and at times no is my answer. Okay. Next thing I'm going to talk about is sales trends. Okay. Sales trends, minute 25, second 43. Okay. So here is what's up with sales trends. Okay. I'm going to talk about virtual selling. Okay. And I'm going to use a word. I'm going to coin this word right now. Okay. And now we're at minute 25, second 57, 25 minute 57. Jake Dunlap said this for the first time. I heard it first here. I was one of the 100-something people that tuned in. Sales experience. 2021 is going to be about sales experience. It's about how to pre-meeting get people excited, during the meeting keep people engaged, and then keep people engaged throughout the process. I really feel like with competition making products more ubiquitous, they all kind of look and sound the same. I'm telling you, and I've talked to a lot of people. I was on with a sales leader who runs $1 billion business this morning, runs $1 billion part of a company. Teams are getting burnt out. They're getting burnt out with behind the scenes Zoom meetings. They're getting built out with sales meetings. they're getting burnt out with internal meetings. People are getting Zoom fatigue or Teams fatigue, whatever you want to call it. So salespeople, guess what? We've got 2 jobs now. Sell, create an experience. 2021, and I kind of teased this a little bit in that video. 2021 is about creating a virtual sales experience. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. Okay. First, content. Utilize content to get people excited to meet with you. Not your company content, industry content, or copy and paste shares from LinkedIn thought leaders, whatever that might look like. Use content to get people excited for your meeting. So out of the 8 meetings that oh yeah, that's that meeting with that company that sent me that thing. Okay, boom. Pre-meeting. What is your pre-meeting experience? We got to create one. Sales experience is the future. People want a differentiated experience. Right now, how easy is it, do you think it is to stand out as a seller? Everyone's doing the same thing. They fire up a Zoom, they walk through the demo, beep, boop, beep, beep, boring, boring, boring. Then guess what your prospects are doing? Up, beep, up, beep, up, up, up. How many of the time? I mean, how many times you see this? You're in sales. How many times you see them doing like this? You even hear it sometimes. I hear you typing. I hear you typing right now. Stop answering email, right? And that's a big reason for this fatigue. I'm telling you this. A big reason for fatigue is actually, I think there's a neuroscience study. I was reading up on this whenever I was putting this deck together. That a lot of the fatigue is because we're multitasking so much. We've got email, LinkedIn, Zooms going on, and we're multitasking, and our own equity, our own brain. You know, there's some great books out there. One called Switch that talks about our willpower. We as humans only have so much willpower in a day. It actually is a depleting resource. Our frontal cortex cannot keep up with all of this stuff. And so, again, I want you to think about, how do I snap people out of it? How do I snap that buyer or that prospect out of their current world? Let's think about pre-sales. Second is during the meeting. During the meeting. You know what? Here, I'm going to show you all. Oh, hold on a second. I wasn't planning to do this, but now Shelby's like, oh shit, Jake's going off the rails here. Okay, I'm going to show you all like an example of what we're doing internally at Skaled that I think is going to be kind of cool for you. Let me see if I can find the most recent one. What we're doing during the meeting to keep people engaged. Okay, I've seen a lot of these virtual whiteboards, stuff like that. I'm good with that. I like that, right? Virtual whiteboards, something to do some type of screen share, okay? I'm telling you, we've got to snap people out of it. So here, I'm going to show you, let me share my screen real quick here. I'm just going to show you one thing. So this is what our sales team started doing at Skaled. Let me move this over. Hopefully that won't break Zoom right now. Screen share, or break this. All right, boom, share. All right, here we go. Don't want you all to see that. All right, give me a quick thumbs up if you can see the screen. So what we're doing, okay, so give me a quick thumbs up. Make sure you can see this real quick. Hold on, I'm just gonna wait to make sure you can see it. Okay, all right, great. So, okay, so what we're doing is this. My team is now, during the discovery process, we're pulling this up and doing a screen share and filling it out live. Why are we doing that? 1, I'm listening. I'm here. I'm focused with you. 2, the person's looking. Oh my gosh, she's listening. He's listening. This is interesting. Nobody's doing this, right? Priorities, takeaways. All right, so John, here's kind of the key areas where I see that you're trying to focus. Is that right? So imagine a world where you do a discovery with the customer virtually. I want you to all to start doing this. This, even if you just have one slide. For those of you who are in customer success, by the way, let me pull this back up. I'm gonna remove that. So for those of you that are in customer success, imagine doing this with your current customer. The first slide you pull up, hey John, here's a quick recap of our conversation from a month ago. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's go down and let's say, what are the priorities now going forward as you look at 2021? Virtual engagement. We've got to start to engage people on the meeting. Then let's talk about post-meeting, right? You know what? I should have just kept sharing my screen. I'm going to keep sharing my screen. I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to show you what McKinsey on our team did. Let me talk to you about how to engage post this, okay? Check this one out. All right, thumbs up again if you can see my screen. Just let me know, okay? Because I'm just going to start talking, and then if nobody can see it. Okay, so here's what McKinsey did. Guess what? She's trying to get a meeting with someone. She tags that person. The person, but Mr. Bo Brooks did not respond to any of her DMs. Guess what she did? She tagged him in a post. He immediately commented and then responded to her messages. I want you to do this for your current customers too. I want you to do this for prospects. I want you to do this in the sales process. Keeping people engaged. Hey, just had a really good conversation with Mr. Ryan Scalera. Yeah, we talked about these 3 things. If you're trying to stay up, make sure to go follow Ryan. Post-meeting engagement. I want all of you to think about that process, okay? What am I doing today to keep people engaged during the meeting process? So I hope that helps. I hope those are some really interesting tips for all of you to think about there. Is what am I doing to keep people engaged during the meeting? Digital, virtual sales experience. Okay? This is what I'm telling you. Okay? This is so easy, right? This is so easy, my friends. Just start doing this. Okay? During the meeting, pull up a couple slides, then tag some people on LinkedIn. This is going to be so easy to stand out. But 2021 in sales has got to be the year of the digital sales experience, right? And then let's talk about our friend LinkedIn and where LinkedIn. Obviously, I'm going to talk LinkedIn, right? Ryan had a question here. Ryan, where in the cycle do you think reps lack experience in experience throughout? I actually would say where we lack the least amount of experience is in our current customers. I think we treat our current customers like third-class citizens. And you know what? You know how I know that? Go take a look at the pecking order in a sales organization. How does that look? Sales development, account management, customer success. You can sit here, Jake. Oh, it's not like it here. Fine. Great. Right? Great. You're not doing it. That's amazing. I'm glad for you. But I'm telling you, Ryan, I don't think we're doing it throughout. Yep, I don't think we're doing it throughout. Jen, there's a platform I just downloaded. I just started piloting. Let me tell you what I've started using here. It's for Zoom. It's called Macro, and it lets you take notes, do some collaboration things in real time. Macro is the name of the one that I started. If any of you have any of these digital experience platforms, another one would be go check out. I know these guys are doing some stuff. Spot Me. Yeah, go check out Spot Me. Digital experience. If you all know any other ones, please put them in there. But yeah, the whole point is that. So that is my trend for 2021 in sales. We have to think about our customer experience. It's similar to what I said about 2020. You're the buyer, thinking about the customer experience. Now, because we're all stuck in this virtual world here, right? The experience is going to be a differentiator. You're going to win deals because your sales experience is better. Other people, you might be more expensive, but I think I said that there's 3 things. It's your sales experience, your customer experience, and your ease of doing business with. If I'm a seller, that's all I care about. That's all I'm thinking about. How do I create an experience for people going through the process, for people who are my current customers, and how do I make it easier and easier and easier and easier to do business with me? That's all I want to do. How do I remove the roadblocks? Again, that's why I like this idea of making the discovery process collaborative. So go check it out. Macro was the other one. I don't know what their LinkedIn handle is. So again, there are platforms, but again, you don't need a platform either, right? I just pulled up good old Google Slides, right? And then I just stopped sharing my screen, and then I can just start to type in, and you can see what I'm typing. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. So that's my big trend for sales. Is that this year is going to be about creating a virtual experience. I think you're going to see a whole bunch of tools pop up, a whole bunch of companies pop up that are all around virtual experience engagement during sales process. Check mark this, minute 20:35, second 56. Jake Dunlap said it. There's going to be a whole industry pop up around virtual and digital meeting experience. So you need to start doing it now, and I showed you some ways to do it. Again, post engagement. How do you nurture people after they've had the first meeting? Well, connect with them on LinkedIn. Connect with everybody on LinkedIn, right? You should be connecting with every single person in your target accounts on LinkedIn, because that way, every single time you post, they just get a little bloop, little bloop, little nurture, etc. So those are my big trends. Let's see. I've got a couple more. And in that, again, is about the sales reputation. I think you're going to start to see more and more boring post people become crazy rich and make a ton of commission because they stop posting salespeople content that gets likes and comments, and they start posting for their industry. They stop caring about, oh, I'm going to post about being a better SDR, even though I sell into, what do you call it? I sell into chemicals, chemical engineers, but I'm posting content about being a better seller. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Makes no sense. You're not trying to build a reputation for yourself in your industry. That's not going to get you paid. You know, like, you've got to realize, if you want to do that, I've said this a million times. If you want to talk about sales all day, come work at Skaled. Why? We are Skaled Consulting. We're a sales consulting company. Go work at a sales technology company. Go work at a company that sells into that if that's what you're passionate. If you don't, and I'm not saying you can't talk about it, 5-10% of your posts. If you sell into an industry, you've got to start to become a digital influencer in your industries. In your industry. I want to see the rise of the boring influencer. The influencer who's got the ears and the minds of this little niche. And we're already seeing it. There's a guy. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Rob. Rob dropped in Macro. That's the one I just downloaded. So again, I literally just downloaded this over the weekend, so I don't know how great it is or not. But that's it. Build a reputation in your space. The more that you tag other industry influencers and you comment on their posts, you bring them in, I think you're going to see this. There's already a guy. Go check him out. You've heard me shout him out. He's one of our previous clients. His name's Adam Fee. Shout out to Adam. Adam's doing this in real estate. Adam's doing this. He's posting about real estate trends. Adam's not out there trying to get 50 likes, 100 likes, 20,000 views. Adam's trying to get deals, and he's getting them done. Adam's the one who sent me the play where he'd run a meeting and then he'd tag that person around the pain point they talked about a day or two later. He's the one who told me about, he closed 2 deals in less than a week because he tagged people on LinkedIn. Why? They kept them engaged in the process. So again, don't worry about being LinkedIn famous. Worry about being famous in your own industry, right? And if they happen to intersect and it's to a broader swath, mazel tov, amazing, go for it. Okay. I could talk about video. I could talk about other things. That's it for me. So I'll do a little bit of Q&A, but those are my trends. Okay. Those are the big trends. There's a lot there. There's a lot of meat on the bone, but I'm here. I'll take the next probably 5 minutes. If y'all want to start to drop some questions here, I will do my best to try to take some of those over the next 5. I've got a couple here from before. I'm back. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. What I was saying is that we have to do a few things. We've got to, the SDR, eliminate the inbound SDR role, except for a very small group. And we have to train SDRs on how to have better quality conversations and actually tell people a little bit about the product. That's it. Got to do those 2 things, or the SDR role is starting to become more and more non-needed. Okay, we need more meetings. So I'm not saying we don't need people who can set meetings. But if those people can't then add this much value in the meeting, we got to remove friction. I'll take speed and removal of friction over a 5% improvement in my qualification process every day. And I hope all of you will as well too. As you think about this, right? I hope all of you think about how important this is that you choose buyer experience over some of this and go through that. Okay. Brian Barron said, I've been shocked by the lack of people in my industry. Got to keep searching for the right people. Brian, I love these industries because then it means that only every industry I've seen, I've yet to see an industry where at least 5% of the people weren't active. And 5% is low, right? That's 5 out of 100. But if you use Sales Navigator, you can then engage with those people. You can now, and the other thing that people don't realize is they see people that aren't posting. Well, guess what? Most people on LinkedIn are lurkers. They just like to lurk, hide around. So again, I want all of you to think about that. Therefore, Brian, you start to put out content consistently, you're gonna get a lot of people interacting with it, whether they're posting content or not, okay? So there's that. So my other trend, SDRs, sales development trend is pretty straightforward. I hope all of you kind of listen to that. Sales tech, again, we're scratching the surface. Bring in experts. Don't just deploy this thing and expect it to just start working magically. It's not gonna happen, okay? Like I said, I don't care who you bring in. You need to either hire more sales ops people to enable your team to be more effective or bring in outside experts, just like marketing does. Think about what marketing does. And sales has none of this, right? It's why we launched sales enablement as a service too. Marketing has a PR agency, a performance marketing agency, a digital agency, a website, a social media agency. Sales has nothing. Nothing. We have sales trainers. That's not any of what I said here. No, there are no sales trainers in that. So that's what we're moving. I'm shifting my whole business. You're going to see a lot from us. Sales operations and sales enablement as a service. Why? You got to keep up with the trends, and one individual, it's very, very hard, right? And maybe sometimes you don't need to hire full-time people. You just need an agency type model. And that's what we're trying to bring on the sales front. So I'm trying to get ahead of that. It's a big reason why I think this is going to be a trend in 2021. And then last but not least, sales, digital sales experience. Jake Dunlap coined the term. Someone put it here, digital sales experience. TM. Boom. I don't think that's official. I don't think it's official if you if you just TM it yourself, but I'm doing it, right? Right. And Elisa, small companies often don't have any of those outside agencies, but that's how they start to scale and grow, right? They start to grow. This is kind of my point, that they don't have those, but when that marketing department starts to grow, when they need an expert, they don't go trying to find a one-size-fits-all person. Marketing goes and finds experts at each part of that little puzzle. We go and say, sales ops, and it's all these things, all of it. And so again, we've got to think it's more about having experts. So you're right, small companies go by, they make do with it. But as we grow and scale, we've got to think about doing it with experts, not just people that have been there and done it once. And digital sales experience. I hope I opened your eyes to a whole new category there. Again, I think it's going to be a really big category in 2021. So as usual, if y'all need me, you know where to find me. DM me on LinkedIn. If you like what you heard today, go ahead and toss a thumbs up, share it with your network. Please share, look, we're out here putting out free content 24/7. A lot of our consulting brethren, focus on, state of sales, etc. We try to focus on that tactical content. So, please share with your network if you feel like this is something that's adding value for you. I appreciate all of you tuning in. And it means a lot to us, just how engaged everybody is on all of these lives. So as usual, I want you to tune in this Friday. We'll do the recap. I've got a really crazy packed week, so there'll be a lot of stuff to share there. Thank you. I appreciate the tossing out there. I appreciate all of you. We've got a crazy week ahead. So tune in every Friday at 8:30 a.m. Central. Every Monday, same time, join. I think we got Jeff Gitomer coming up. I think Jeff Gitomer is on next week. If you guys don't know Jeff Gitomer, he wrote Little Red Book of Sales. So I think I'm going to be interviewing him next week. So make sure to tune in for that. Again, I appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of your week. Get out of that turkey coma. Get out there. Finish the month strong. Go out. Have an amazing rest of your week. Rob Horrell, I saw your comment come in here at the very last second. I want you to DM me that comment, and I'm going to get you an answer. Have a great one, everybody.